And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again, another edition of the Coaches Show. Exciting week last week, the first round of the playoffs, 1A, 5A, wrapping up the regular season. Jeremy, a lot of exciting football action last week.
It was, and we had a couple of upsets this past week, and so hopefully that'll carry over into Friday night for high school football action, the second round. Just continued great football is all we're hoping for.
So we talked about 1A wrapping things up. We'll quickly go over some scores in 1A. It was senior night at Vardaman, as Vardaman knocked off West Lowndes 28-6 in that ball game, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Kelvin Clemens eclipsed the 6,000-yard mark for his career rushing the football, so he's ran for quite a while.
Yeah, that's it. It's really impressive, especially when you consider, that offense has got another dual threat in there, with Terrence Jones, just a tremendous running back, and he's got a bright future ahead of him. Don't know if he's got any plans for football beyond this level, but whether he does or not, he had a career that is to be proud of at Vardaman High School.
Absolutely. Coffeyville knocked off French Camp to the final score of 18-16. Unfortunately for the Pirates, so that's where their season ends. Very young football team behind Lee Chambers this season, just missed out on the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate for Chambers because he got a lot of attention coming in, and maybe his stats aren't what everybody thought they would be, and it's not because he's not as talented, just it didn't really have the type of supporting cast around him that he had last season. But you're right there, young football team. We've seen a lot of young football teams in our viewing area that play well the next year. That could be the Pirates next year.
Absolutely. Smithfield, another one of those young football teams, they knock off Walnut 33-28 was that final score. And then on senior night in Pittsburgh, Calhoun Academy seniors out in a big way. Final score of that one, 53-6 over North Sunflower in non-division play. Even one of the big offensive linemen got a chance to score a touchdown in that ball game.
That's always what you want to do in last game of the season. Seniors out on a positive. That's what they did. You always look forward to next year.
Absolutely. Well, we'll shift gears now to the playoff action, and we've got an interview coming up after this score. Baldwin knocked off LaFleur County to the final score of 29-13. Paul Blatson was on hand to get highlights for that and had a chance to talk with Coach Dillinger after that game.
Coach Jimmy Dillinger, head football coach of the Baldwin Bearcats. Coach, boy, that was one of those typical Delta football teams. A lot of good athletes, kind of scare the heck out of you, like we talked about last week when they get off the bus and had to hang on for dear life and make some good plays. Boy, they beat Hollandale, I understand, last week. That's not your typical number 4 seed to open up with in the first round of the playoffs, are they?
No, it's not. People don't realize it, and we talked to a coach down there, and if they had beaten Riverside, they would have been the region champions. They were that close to being the number 1 team out of the region. So, it wasn't a typical number 4 team that came in here. So even though they were number 4, they could have been the region champions. So
solid group of athletes. Of course, the thing that stands out to you is they made some big plays right here, right before the end of the third quarter. They take the lead for just a few moments, but your kids responded.
We did. The offense was kind of sluggish, but after they got the lead, we were able to establish some things. We had established some things during the game and just couldn't punch it in the end zone. And they gave us some problems on the defensive side. They were throwing the ball more than we expected them to do. And but during the fourth quarter, the offense got cranked up, and we were able to pull that one out.
You seem that you hit basically your touchdowns basically were little touchdown throws. I think it was to Dory and Berry, maybe both times, man. I'm not sure. Maybe the ties, maybe one time, but just basically stood up. The quarterback did hit the tight end, or maybe that wing back position, I guess, from those plays. But those were there for you at both times. Did you call on those particular plays tonight as well?
They were, and Shelley set up a lot of things for us tonight. He's had an outstanding game last 2 games, and Caleb had a good game there with the last part of it, but overall it ended up as it had to be the football team that won it, and they did it.
Shelley did play well for you. If you think about so he had those tough inside runs that he's been giving you all year.
He's done a good job. He really has.
He has. Anything that they did tonight that really surprised you? Said they threw the ball a little bit more than you guys had thought they maybe were throwing it in the past. Anything else that they did defensively?
Defensively, they brought the pressure just like we thought they would do. 1 in 7 and 45 can come get you. and they applied a lot of pressure, didn't allow us to do some things on the inside, you know, because it was real quick inside on us. And offensively, they didn't get in the power sets like we thought they would, you know, because that's what they've shown on the film. He stayed away from his game plan and changed it into double slot and I slot formations and threw the ball more.
Real quickly, we'll get you out of here, Coach. I know you want to go home, but next week we understand you are going to Bruce. We hear Bruce won quite convincingly. We understand I think it was 48-6 or 48-7 was the final score. I think they won tonight on the road. A tradition-rich football program, the Bruce Trojans. When you think of those guys, they've won some state championships and good program, and of course they have a new coach, guy that came in from Taylorsville. I think this was his first year. Last week they lost a tough one to Calhoun City in a shootout. I understand it wasn't really as far as a lot of points, but it was 13-7 or something like that. And, you know, they're a quality team. And of course, Coach, there's nobody left right now that's not a quality football team. Everybody's pretty good. They've had some kind of success during the season. That's why they're still around playing. But tough challenge next week going on the road.
It is. We've been over there a couple of times in first round playoffs and come back bad. So Bruce hasn't been pleasant for us. Hopefully that'll change this next week. You know.
A good opportunity though against a good football team. That's the thing you want at this time of year. That's kind of why those 2 days in August when it was hot and you know, and it was, you know, basically some of the toughest times, and those practices were pretty intense from you guys and from the coaches we're talking about, the kids not wanting to do some things. I know it happens with every football program, but that's why you're playing these games here in November against these type teams like a Bruce Trojan football team. You expect to have challenges. That's why you play the game, isn't it, Coach?
Right. It's like you say, Bruce is a very rich tradition over there with football. State championships. I know they were down for the last couple of years, but they're on their way back up, and it's a good opportunity for us to play that quality ball.
You know anything about them, Coach? I mean, I know
haven't seen them.
I guess you guys exchange film with them tomorrow.
Yeah, talk to him tomorrow and see when we can exchange films, and you know, just be glad it's not a real long trip.
Well, you're right. It's not that bad.
Right.
It gets a little over an hour. It's
Right.
not too much. Probably an hour and 15 minutes or so, maybe. So that'll be a good thing for you, Coach. Congratulations. Look forward to it. That'll be a game that we will cover next week. Look forward to seeing the Bearcats and the Trojans next week from Bruce High School.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Coach Andrew.
And that final score there, 29-13, ball went over LaFleur County. They, as they mentioned, will play Bruce next week as Bruce beat West Tallahatchie 22-8 behind Anthony Armstrong's 199 yards rushing. So big night once again out of Anthony.
And that's what you can expect out of Anthony. He's a guy, he's a senior that had to play quarterback this year, played a little running back last season. He's really stepped into it and he's embraced it. He's a dual threat at quarterback. He's shown that he can really throw the football. And with him and Freeland back there, Bruce really has a nice 1-2 punch they can use into the playoffs.
Also, of course, the winner of the Bruce Baldwin game will go on to play the winner out of Shaw and Hollydale Simmons. Shaw pulled the upset last week, a 14-13 win over Eupora. Kind of really reshapes 2A there in the North Part.
It really does. We did not expect Shaw to up in Eupora. Now that kind of opens up some things for some teams. But again, just goes to show anybody can be beaten in the playoffs. That's why you have to play well every single round.
Well, Hollydale Simmons, they knocked off Belmont to the final score of 34-14. So as we mentioned, they will take on Shaw Friday night in that action. West Bolivar, we didn't get a final score on this one, but West Bolivar victorious over Ackerman. They will go on to play Okolona 20-14 victors over Riverside. Chieftains, we talked about it, steadily improving throughout the year, but you and I have talked since then. Maybe didn't give them the credit due because we didn't realize just how good Houston was.
Yeah, and I think that's it. Ryan and I saw them at the beginning of the year, and they really did not look like a very good football team. But since then, they've regrouped. They only lost one district game, and that was to the Baldwin Bearcats towards the end of the final game of the season. They've really played well. They played well last weekend. I mean, you're right. Judged them a little prematurely because of Houston, didn't realize how good they were going to be this season. But Okolona, if they just continue to use Robert Elliott and run the football, they can cause some damage in 2A as well.
Absolutely. Other scores going on in that area. Calhoun City victors over Louisville 44-6. Calhoun City Big defensive game last week against Bruce, even bigger this week, only allowed 56 yards total offense.
And that's what you have to do. Defense wins championships, and they've got a top-flight defense that they can use in case their offense, for whatever reason, doesn't show up. And I can imagine with Malcolm Bellum and company, they're going to be ready to play every single round. They're playing better right now than any team in 2A North, I believe. They're really solid, extremely well coached, and the defense continues to improve and play well. This is a team that gave up 35 points to Vardaman at the beginning of the year. They've made tremendous strides since then. They're on an 11-game winning streak. I just don't see their defense letting them down.
And they will take on Leland, who was victorious over Manatee. Not an exciting ball game there. I believe the final score was something like 6-0. Neither team really wanted to win to take on the Wildcats in the next round, it seemed, in that one.
I think you're right about that.
So that's going to wrap up our scores there for 2A. We're going to take you to a quick break, come back and look at 3A and 4A regions here on the Coaches Show. Remind you, we're at Westside Grill here in Bruce, across from Sonic. Steven says some of the best food on the planet. Come by and check them out when you got the opportunity here at Westside Grill. So we'll take you to a quick break. Come back with more right after this. Hey kids, what's going on? You guys not remember we're taping a show here? I mean, but that's okay though. Just chill. I see that I've interrupted your guys' lunch here. Jeremy, you do remember we got a show, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, what are you boys eating?
Hamburgers.
Hamburgers. Any cornerstone to a nutritional lunch. What kind of hamburgers are you eating?
Cheeseburgers.
Not what kind. Where'd you get it from?
Westside Grill in Bruce.
So I take it that's your burger there.
Yeah.
Mind if I try a bite? Hey Steven, you want to buy this burger?
Yeah,
You sure? Because they're pretty tasty.
I'm not hungry.
All right, man, but if you're ever hungry, you should check them out. Pretty tasty burger. You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in France?
Life is full of major moments. Some you could do without, and some you'll treasure. So for those times when your life seems to blaze out of control, and for those times when all of your hard work pays off, remember who's been by your side yesterday and today, and who'll be there tomorrow. Your Farm Bureau Insurance Agent. Some people just make your life better.
King's Tire in Houston, offering the largest selection of used and new tires. They carry all sizes of many name brand tires. All used tires carry a 30-day warranty. They also offer rotation and balancing. King's Tire is also your place for car and motorcycle brakes and motorcycle tires. They offer windshield replacement, and they do 24-hour car door unlocking. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday until lunch on Saturday. Closed on Wednesdays. They accept Visa and MasterCard. See owners Reggie and Martha Callahan at King's Tire on the southeast corner of the square in Houston. Renaissance Bank in Calhoun City. The name is new, but they still offer the same great service. Totally free checking, savings account and CDs, home loans and business loans, 24-hour ATM inside, and drive-through window for your convenience. Jimmy Clemens invites you to come by and visit all the staff. Rhonda Ray, Sandra Doolittle, Jennifer Parker, Penny Nichols, Mary Johnson, and Robbie Winter. Come see them today for all of your financial needs or call them at 628-6692. Highway 8 East in Calhoun City, that's Renaissance Bank.
You know, being teammates is about more than just helping each other win races every week. It's also about helping each other learn.
That's right. Michael has taught me that Napa parts are as good or better than the parts that came on your own car, and that Napa parts professionals can always help you get the job done right the first time.
Yeah, and Junior taught me how to do this.
I'm not taking credit for that. That needs just a little work there, bud.
And welcome back to the Coaches Show here from Westside Grill, located in Bruce, across from Sonic. 983-2828 is that number. Little Charles cooking up our supper here, so Jeremy had to rush through these next scores. In 3A, Ripley knocked off Greenwood Elsie to the final score of 35-14. Really no surprise in that one. The shocker for both of us, Jeremy, Independence knocks off Houston. Houston, that postseason victory, still eluding them.
Yeah, we really thought this was going to be the dark horse team in 3A. You know, they're a tremendous football team. A couple points away from knocking off both Amory and Nettleton and being the #1 team in that region. Just disappointing. They came out flat. Well, we can't say they came out flat. They were up 14-0. Just gave up 4 touchdowns that went unanswered. But nonetheless, you know, congratulations to Coach Doty and company. A good season, a winning season, got to the playoffs. You can build on that, and hopefully next season they can get that first playoff win.
Absolutely. Talk about an upset of sorts. The #4 seed, Boonville, goes to South Delta, knocks off South Delta, I believe, in double overtime to the final score of 27-26. Doesn't surprise me to see that out of Boonville, but it surprised a lot of other people.
Yeah, including me. I was one of the two here that picked against them. But, you know, what else can you say other than, you know, good coaches, you know, always find ways to win. And, you know, South Delta, for whatever reason, just could not pull it out. But give credit to Coach Drury and company. He had the Boonville Blue Devils ready to play.
I want to make sure Mr. Baseball listens to this. Amory knocks off Holly Springs to the final score of 32-13, sets up a matchup between Amory and Boonville. Two classic powers going at each other there next Friday night. Good job by Amory. They had struggled to close out the regular season, but coming on strong in that game against Holly Springs, who is a team full of athletes and some big offensive and defensive linemen, so it's a solid win for the Panthers.
It is, because Holly Springs was in this ball game. It was a 14-7 ball game for a while there, but finally Amory pulled away, and this team has to rely on Richard McFadden to get it done. He's a tremendous quarterback. He has a strong arm. He's extremely athletic, can run when the pocket breaks down, but what he has to do is improve his decision making, and the coaches have to get through to his head. You cannot throw the ball wildly. Sometimes an incomplete pass and throwing it away is a good thing, but they also need to get Josh Ruff involved. Those guys, 1-2 combination, you know, they can make some noise in 3A North as well.
Absolutely, and Stephen Chris went out and got some of the highlights of that Amory game. I believe Paul Blansett, Bill Morgan, and Soup Campbell will be on hand for the Amory-Boonville matchup this Friday night in Boonville. Interview after this score here. Senatobia knocks off South Pontotoc. Really no surprise. Thought South Pontotoc might have been able to keep it a little bit more interesting, but Senatobia 34-6 victors over South Pontotoc. I believe Soup got up with the coach after the game.
Back here at Senatobia High School with head coach Paul Dees of the South Pontotoc Cougars. Coach, this is probably not the way you wanted to end the season, but you have to be commended on a great year, and you did a great job. You got a very young team and some bright days ahead for this South Pontotoc Cougar team, you'd have to think.
I think so. You know, I told the kids that at the end of this year, there's going to be one team left that's going to be happy, and everybody else is going to be sad. You know, we got here, and I think this junior bunch is not going to just be satisfied with getting here next year. So, you know, we're proud of them. It's one of the best group of kids I've ever had as far as doing what we wanted and working hard. You know, it's a great year.
You're exactly right. It has been a great year for South Pontotoc, and like I said, you can't say enough. I know you'd like to say something about this senior class here. They went out with a great effort tonight. Timothy Dobbins played his heart out on defense, and then played played a lot of minutes. The defense stayed on the field a long time, but they hung in there for you and played to the last play there. And know you'd like to say something about this senior class.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, they have worked hard. They're a bunch of overachievers. I mean, they stick together. They don't complain. They were as far as leadership goes. I mean, you got a captain that tore his knee up in the second ball game, but was there with us every day. And you just feel sorry for, hate it so bad for a kid like that. But I'm gonna tell you now, they did exactly what you could ask out of a group. They got us back in the playoffs, and they set a stone for us what we need to do next year.
Well, we'd like to commend you on a great job of coaching this year, thank you for the ride, and it's been a good one, and we hope you only brighter days for the South Pontotoc Cougars in years to come. And I know there's going to be brighter days because you got a great young nucleus here to build on, and some momentum to go into next year on after going into the playoffs this year, and as you mentioned, just overachieving.
Right. Well, we're looking forward to it, and like I said, we'll get started to work on it Tuesday, getting back in the weight room, trying to get our speed back up, and trying to get a little faster. But there's no doubt that it's a good day to be a Cougar, and I love that place. I've been there 10 years, and it's done become home to me. So we're looking forward to get started back on it next year.
For the South Pontotoc family, we're going to close it out here from Senatobia here tonight, and good luck for days and weeks to come here to the South Pontotoc Cougars, and a nice job here at Senatobia. Even a losing effort here tonight, great class shown by the South Pontotoc Cougars. For Bill Morgan, William Morgan, Mike Campbell, bidding you a pleasant good evening here from Senatobia High School.
And once again, that final score, Senatobia 34, South Pontotoc 6. I want to thank Bill Morgan, Soup, and Mr. William going out and working that ball game, but also believe Brother Kevin Purden working the sidelines for highlights on that as well. Senatobia will go on to play Charleston as they were able to knock off Kasuth to the final score of 21-14. The ball game I was at with the Water Valley crew, Nelton knocked off Water Valley 21-6. Nelton really struggled offensively to start the ball game. I think they missed their first 7 passes were incomplete for Jamie Bolin, which is not too common for Jamie, but I believe he's dealing with a rotator cuff injury that could be hampering his throws.
Well, the one thing that's good for Nettleton is the fact that they played poorly and were still able to come out on top. What gets lost in their offensive productivity is how great their defense is. Will Hawkins and company are extremely fast, and I just think with their team speed on the defensive side of the ball, they're going to be awfully tough to beat even when they have off nights offensively.
Absolutely. You talk about Will Hawkins. He ended the regular season with 174 tackles in the regular season. So that's getting the job done.
That is, yeah. And that's a credit to his team, his speed. He does a great job of tackling. We saw him, Ryan and I did at the Amory game, and it seemed like we called his name every single play. He had more than 10 tackles in the ball game I'm aware of right now. I have to go back and look at stats on how much he actually got. But
Ryan's saying he had 12.
Okay, 12 tackles in the ball game. But he is the kind of middle linebacker that you need that can win on the defensive side of the ball.
Absolutely. They will go on to play Cleveland Eastside. Cleveland Eastside knocked off Corinth 22-21 was that final score in overtime. But Eastside rolling the bones on that one, going for 2 down 20-21 in overtime.
Yeah, and that's what comes with playoff football sometimes. Is Adam gets his food here, but sometimes you can gamble and go for the win in the playoffs. That kind of excitement and the adrenaline from coaches will do that to you, and it just so happened it paid off.
Absolutely. Now we'll switch gears and look at the 4A bracket. West Point gets a 39-14 victory over Northeast Lauderdale. They will move on to play Oxford, who went on the road and was able to beat Richland to the final score of 35-14. The Chargers get back on the winning ways after a 2-game streak where they were struggling and come up losing to Clarksdale and Lafayette.
They do, but they still have to get the quarterback issues settled. Matthew Shaw started the ball game, was only 2 for 10. However, the 2 completions were touchdowns, but they've still got to get that fixed before Friday night against West Point because they're in trouble if they can't get better quarterback play.
Absolutely, and Adam Hamilton's shoe-in of the week last week was good. He called the Kosciuszko game to get out of hand. It was a 50-39 victory over Itawamba. They will move on to play Lafayette County, who was at home and had to squeak this one out in the end, 28-21. Victory over Pearl.
Oh, they did, and they struggled tremendously because they couldn't get Ricky Wadlington established in the ball game. He had he had 1 touchdown early in the ball game, but after that it was the Desmond Ivy show, and if not for him, Lafayette goes home with a loss.
And Jeremy, I believe you talked to both Coach Hart and Desmond after the game, so we'll go to those interviews now here on the Coaches Show.
Welcome back to the W07BN postgame show. Standing here with Desmond Ivan. Desmond, a little tougher than you might have thought tonight. A team that came out and played hard. Just talk about the offense tonight. It didn't really play as well as last week.
Yeah, we started all kinds of slow because we thought it was just gonna be a little easy game, and they came out showed that they came prepared to ready to play. And I think as the game started moving, they started getting better as the game was going. But we did start off slow.
Well, talk about your performance. You had quite a night tonight. Ricky was hurt a little bit. Talk about the things you did tonight on offense.
Well, the coach kept telling me I got to push myself to be a leader. And so Ricky, he was out, so I had to put in that extra work. But I just kept working. Things wasn't going right at first, but they told me just keep pushing. And some big plays came out.
Well, talk about the punt return. Take me through that, what you saw maybe that they were doing when you caught the football.
Well, I come and said the wall was planning to go this way. But when I seen most of everybody going away, I fade one way then. When I seen the seam, it just opened up.
Yeah.
And I had a blocking down the field to get that one person from the score.
Well, Desmond, we appreciate your time. Good luck next week. Look forward to covering you.
Thank you, too.
Welcome back. Sitting here with Coach Harder. Coach, struggled a little bit. Tough matchup tonight, but your team prevailed. Talk about your performance tonight.
Well, we did struggle. You know, that's no secret. But it was, you know, like I told the kids when we were finished, sometimes we just have to survive in the playoffs. And Pearl's got good players. You know, you saw them tonight. They weren't very highly ranked or respected coming in, but I thought they had some good skilled players. Quarterback threw the ball real well, and that was one of the things we're worried about coming in.
Well, talk about your offense tonight. Wellington, you kind of banged up a little bit. Just talk about Desmond Ivan and what he did for you tonight.
Well, Desmond kind of took it on his shoulders and cut some big plays for us, and that was a difference. You know, he made a big difference for us tonight. You know, last week it was him and Ricky and Josh, and tonight Desmond had some big plays and got us out of some binds.
Well, Coach, we certainly appreciate your time. Good luck next week wherever you travel, and we'll be there to cover.
Okay, thank you.
Jeremy, I want to thank you and Ryan going out and get those highlights for us. We'll move on and look at some more games. Yazoo City 34, Cleveland 14. Shannon will travel to Yazoo City as they were 21-14 victors over West Lauderdale. Last game interception to win that ball game, an exciting one out in Shannon.
It was, and the Red Raiders come through. You know, they haven't had the best of luck here. They get their starting quarterback, Michael Ledbetter, I believe is going to be out for the remainder of the playoffs, which could hamper them down the road, but they were able to get a big win Friday night to stay alive.
Clarksdale continues to roll. They win 38-12 is that final score, and they will take on Louisville.
There you go.
32-7 victors over Tisch County. That Clarksdale-Louisville game is going to be a pretty interesting matchup.
It was shaping up to be a pretty nice ball game. However, I do think Clarksdale will eventually come out. You know, got to say, don't know that much about Louisville. Saw them last year against Lafayette. Looked like really a disorganized football team, but a lot of improvement apparently from one season ago, because a lot of people are saying they could give Clarksdale a good game.
Absolutely. So we get ready to take a break here shortly. We'll quickly go over some of the games in the viewing area. Vardaman will host Greenville St. Joe. Baldwin will travel to Bruce. Leland will come to Calhoun City. Amory will come to Boonville. And then Nelson will host Cleveland Eastside. West Point will be at Oxford. Lafayette County will be at Kosciuszko. And Shannon will be at Yazoo City. So that's going to pretty much wrap up this part of the Coaches Show. We're going to take you to a quick break, bring Ryan Whittington on here for the second part of the show, I guess you could say, and we'll make our picks for this upcoming week in the playoffs here on the Coaches Show. So back with more here from Westside Grill right after this.
You know what they call the quarter in France?
They don't call it the quarter pounder with cheese?
No, see, they use the metric system. They don't know what a quarter pound is.
So what do they call it?
They call it the Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese. Then what do they call the Big Mac?
Oh, it's still the Big Mac. Only they call it Le Big Mac.
Oh, what do they call the Whopper?
I don't know. I didn't go to Burger King. Oh, hey, look, Westside Grill. Dude, let's stop there. They have great food anytime.
Life is full of major moments. Some you could do without, and some you'll treasure. So for those times when your life seems to blaze out of control, and for those times when all of your hard work pays off, remember who's been by your side yesterday and today, and who'll be there tomorrow. Your Farm Bureau Insurance Agent. Some people just make your life better.
King's Tire in Houston, offering the largest selection of used and new tires. They carry all sizes of many name brand tires. All used tires carry a 30-day warranty. They also offer rotation and balancing. King's Tire is also your place for car and motorcycle brakes and motorcycle tires. They offer windshield replacement, and they do 24-hour car door unlocking. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday until lunch on Saturday. Closed on Wednesdays. They accept Visa and MasterCard. See owners Reggie and Martha Callahan at King's Tire on the southeast corner of the square in Houston. Renaissance Bank in Calhoun City. The name is new, but they still offer the same great service. Totally free checking, savings account, and CDs, home loans and business loans, 24-hour ATM inside, and drive-through window for your convenience. Jimmy Clemens invites you to come by and visit all the staff. Rhonda Ray, Sandra Doolittle, Jennifer Parker, Penny Nichols, Mary Johnson, and Robbie Winter. Come see them today for all of your financial needs, or call them at 628-6692. Highway 8 East in Calhoun City, that's Renaissance Bank.
You know, being teammates is about more than just helping each other win races every week. It's also about helping each other learn.
That's right. Michael has taught me that Napa parts are as good or better than the parts that came on your own car, and that Napa parts professionals can always help you get the job done right the first time.
Yeah, and Junior taught me how to do this.
I'm not taking credit for that. That needs just a little work there, bud.
And welcome back, everyone, as we bring Ryan Whittington on the set. Ryan, you got a one-game lead on us here. Our picks from last week, Jeremy and I were 37-11. Ryan pretty much riding our coattails, just switching up back and forth on us.
Actually, guys, I wanna show something to y'all really quick. You know, in remembrance of the mighty bad Hollyhawks who went down to the Amory Panthers in a pretty tough game up until halftime, I just wanted to show y'all that, yeah, I'm mighty bad Ryan. So thank you. And I really appreciate that. But that's right, folks. Number one this week.
That's right. That was mighty bad. You are correct.
That's right.
You were in it till last year, and then all of a sudden, when it got to about the third round, you were down there around people that didn't even pick at all.
Well, you know what? Week one's over, and I think it's Ryan 1, Adam and Jeremy nothing.
All right, well, we'll see how you do in week 2, because the winner always leads with his picks this week, so you have no one to jump on from.
All right, I guess we can do that.
All right, we'll start with 2A right now. Baldwin will be at Bruce. Baldwin 10-1, Bruce 7-4. And Mr. Whittington, the pick goes to you.
I'm going with Baldwin this week. Actually taking Adam Hamilton's advice for once in my lifetime, but I'm going to go with Baldwin. You know, Baldwin. It's going to be tough though. They're playing at Bruce, but I think the Bearcats can pull this one out.
I'm going to go with the Bearcats as well. I think Davenport and company just too much for Armstrong and Freeland.
Tell you, it's not going to make good for me living in this area, but I got to go with Baldwin too. I just say the offensive and defensive lines are going to be the tail of this one. They're big, physical up front. I don't know if Bruce has got the ability to match them with their defensive line prowess and the offensive line there as well. So we'll make a clean sweep across the board with the Bearcats moving on. Now the question is, who will the Bearcats play? Will it be the 8-2 Hollandale Simmons, or will it be 7-4 Shaw? And Ryan, once again, the pick is with you.
I don't think this one's a hard one. Of course, all three of us picked Eupora last week, and we were all three wrong on that one. But I'm going with Simmons on this one. I just think that they're a big, tough team. Shaw pulled a huge upset last week, and kudos to them, but I don't think it's happening this week.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Hollandale Simmons as well for the same reasons that Ryan did. You know, I think Shaw's going to come in a little too excited about last week, probably focusing too much on the fact they pulled an upset, and Simmons is too talented.
All right, guys, next pick, you've got 5-6 Oklahoma going on the road versus 11-0 West Bolivar. And Ryan, the pick is yours.
I really like the way Robert Elliott runs, and it was sad because we were calling that Oklahoma game. We were hammering them pretty tough, so I'm glad that they made the playoffs. West Bolivar, though, I think they win this one pretty convincingly, and it's also at West Bolivar.
Yeah, I'm going to go with West Bolivar as well. Robert Elliott, he's not Superman.
Yeah, we'll go with West Bolivar, and there's no sense even talking about it.
Yeah.
Calumet City will host Leland. Calumet City coming in with a 10-1 record. Leland coming in at 7-4. Once again, Mighty Bad Ryan, it's yours.
Well, I got to say the Wildcats in this one. First off, you're playing at Calumet City. It's going to be tough to pull the upset in that one. I don't think Leland can do that.
Yeah, the boys from the Boneyard get another one.
Yeah, once again, this is going to be just about as ugly as that West Bolivar game. I set up a very interesting matchup between Calumet City and West Bolivar if our picks stay as expected. We'll shift down to the south side. You know, guys, we actually did fairly decent for not knowing these teams last week. Now, Enterprise Clark coming in at 10-1. They will travel to Mitt County. They come in with an 8-2 record. Ryan.
I'm going to go with Enterprise Clark on this one. It was a close game. I think their final score was 20-14 in their first round game. But I'm saying Enterprise Clark.
I'm going to go with Enterprise Clark as well, other than just the fact that they have a better record.
Absolutely, and I'm going to stick with that one. Also on that one, 9-1 East Marion at 6-5 Mize. Mize is a good football team, but apparently not what they used to be at 6-5.
I picked against East Marion last week, and I'm picking with them this week. I think East Marion takes this one away.
Yeah, East Marion as well.
I'll tell you what, guys, we're making no ground on this whatsoever. But the next game is going to be 9-2 Union at Hines, who's coming off a big win over their upset over Taylorsville. Hines coming in with a 7-4 record. Ryan.
I will say Hines AHS in this one. Last week they beat the number 1 seed Taylorsville, and I think they can actually. I believe Union would be a number 2 seed or a 3 seed.
2 seed, I believe.
Okay, I'm saying Hines AHS in this one.
I'm going to go with Union. You just lost your lead because there's no way Hines AHS pulls another upset.
Going with you, I say last week they just got their big win of the year. Union takes that one. Lumberton at 10-1 St. Andrews. Interesting ball game here. Lumberton 9-1. St. Andrews at 10-1. It's at St. Andrews, so Ryan.
It'll be tough to do, but I think Lumberton wins this one.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I'm going with Lumberton as well.
Absolutely. I'm going with Lumberton in that one. So the only pick, I guess you can say, guys, we picked differently in that one is going to be the Hines AHS Union matchup where Ryan goes with Hines AHS. And another upset could happen. I don't think any of us expected Taylorsville to go down the first week.
You're exactly right, but like I said, I don't think they're going to. It's the same situation with Boonville for me. I said I'd drive the Boonville bandwagon. Hines AHS, if you're in the area, give me a call. I'll drive yours as well if you end up winning this one.
Absolutely. Now we'll shift to 3A 6-5 Independence at Ripley. Mr. Ryan.
Too tough to do. Ripley takes this one.
Ripley big.
Yeah, Ripley gets ugly on Independence. And I hope they do because Independence ruined our Houston Hilltoppers being the dark horse last week. Interesting ball game here, guys. 7-4 Amory at 7-4 Boonville. 2 versus 4 seed here. Power versus power. Classic teams versus classic teams. Brother Ryan.
Beat my Hawks. I'm going with Amory Panthers in this one. Also, you got to think that Boonville, that was a tough game. Plus, a few altercations going on after the ball game. Double overtime victory. I think they're a little tired. I think that was their win of the season. I'm going with Amory.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Amory as well. Like I said, I picked them to lose the last 2 weekends, but call the station. I'll drive your bandwagon if you beat Amory.
Absolutely, and I wanted to make it a clean sweep. I apologize to our fans watching in Boonville, but I believe Amory, I think they're playing football once again at the level they did against, say, the Tupelos, the Shannons, the Oxfords, even though they lost those ball games. But when you play at that level against some 3A teams, got to go with Amory in that one. Cleveland East Side 7-4 at 11-0 Nettleton. Guys, I think we're pretty much going to clean sweep across this one.
I think this one might actually be a little bit closer than I want it to be, though. That was tough last week against Water Valley. This one could get interesting, but I think Nettleton wins.
I'm going to say Nettleton rebounds. You're going to see the offense you've seen all season long. I say Nettleton makes a statement that last week was nothing more than just some kinks that need to get worked out. I say Nettleton big.
Absolutely. I'm going to go with both of you guys on that one and clean sweep across the board for the Tigers. 7-4 Senatobia at 8-3 Charleston. Interesting ball game brewing here. This one could really go either way, Ryan.
I'm saying Charleston in this one. Tough to win on the road in the playoffs. Got to go to Charleston. I don't think Senatobia does it.
I'm going to say Senatobia, the Warriors, win at home. I'm going to say they hold Johnny Brown to under 100 yards.
Well, this is a tiebreaker for me, and I'm going to go with Ryan on this one. Charleston takes this game over Senatobia here, so we'll see. Jeremy, you could jump ahead of me with that pick. And then Tyler will switch down to the south now. Once again, guys, another tough pick here. A couple of 7-4 teams. Tylertown at Southeast Lauderdale.
I'll shoot in the dark and say Tylertown.
You gotta be kidding me. I'm going to go Tylertown as well.
Absolutely. Going to make that a clean sweep across the board, even though Tylertown's going on the road. A very interesting ball game here. Hazelhurst at 10-1. Raleigh. Hazelhurst coming in with an 8-2 record. And this one could be a very exciting, close, another overtime looking at ball game there between Hazelhurst and Raleigh.
Well, I picked them to represent the South, so I gotta say Hazelhurst in this one.
I'm gonna say Hazelhurst as well.
Jeremy's going with that. I'm going to say, what the heck, I'll go with Raleigh just to make it interesting. And the next game, Carthage at 10-1 Franklin County. Carthage comes in with a 9-2 record. Franklin County, as I said, 10-1.
I'll say Franklin County in this one.
Yeah, Franklin County as well.
And I will not make it interesting. I will stick with Franklin County in that one. Yazoo County 10-1 at 8-3 Collins.
Yazoo County for this one. Collins, that was a close game that they played in. They're not looking too prosperous in the later playoff rounds.
Yeah, struggled against Belma Jackson. I'm going to go against Collins as well.
Absolutely. I'm going with Yazoo County because I picked them to represent the South 3A, so that's a clean sweep on that one. Guys, we'll shift up now to 4A. West Point will be at Oxford. Tough one here. West Point 10-1, Oxford 9-2. This is where you guys live.
I know. I'm probably not going to make any friends with this one. I say West Point wins this one. It just, I'm not, that passing game that you talked about earlier in the coaches show, I'm not sold on it. That defense, West Point is not the West Point that they have been in years past, but they're still, the name recognition is West Point.
Yeah, I think the quarterback situation for Oxford is still a little too sketchy. I'm going to go against the Chargers, and I'm going to pick the Green Wave.
All right, so I'm going to make some friends. I'm telling you guys, I just feel Coach Hill's going to win this one. I think they get it together this week.
I think we can both go on the record and say we hope Oxford wins. But if I had to pick, which we do, I'm just going to go West Point.
Well, and the thing is, we were talking about it earlier. If Oxford is able to pull this one out, 4A North is wide open. I mean, there's no telling who could come out of 4A North. I really think the winner of this game could represent the North. There's no telling from here on out what happens.
Another game in y'all's area, Lafayette County will be at Kosciuszko. 2 9-2 teams on the season. Should be interesting.
I'm going to say Lafayette County in this one. They've got to get that run game settled, though. You go to Kosciuszko. You had problems at home last weekend. It's going to be tough, but I'm saying the Commodores.
You just made my point for me. Kosciuszko, because I think they shut down Ricky Wadlington. They forced Des Ivy to throw the ball, and he showed last week against Pearl. He's capable of throwing the football, but if he's playing a much better defense, I say the Whippets hold serve at home.
Agreeing with you on that one because I think the Whippets have too many offensive threats versus the ground attack only type offense for Lafayette. This time of the season, you got to be more versatile on the offensive side. Speaking of which, we got Shannon going on the road to 10-1 Yazoo City. This one could get interesting. I picked against the Red Raider Nation last week, and they proved me wrong in an exciting ball game. As I said, it'd be too close to call. But Ryan, we'll start with you, Shannon, at Yazoo.
I'm going with Shannon this one. I stuck with them last week. I'll stick with them this week. They're playing Yazoo City. I know it's a big 10-1 record, but I'm going with the Red Raiders in this one.
They got past West Lauderdale last week without stellar quarterback play. Their season ends Friday night. Yazoo ends the season for Shannon, and they can make some real noise in 4A.
Absolutely. I'm going to go with Yazoo City on this one as well. I just think their speed is going to be too much for those big guys up front for Shannon, which is a big part of their defense. If they can get the big guys in the backfield, disturb it, I just don't think they're going to have enough speed for the bigger guys to catch up with the little scat backs that they have there. Louisville at Clarksdale, 8-3 Louisville. A lot of people are saying Louisville's got a chance to go in and surprise Clarksdale. Ryan, what say ye?
No surprise here. Wildcats win at Crumpton Field.
Okay, first of all, they're both Wildcats. I'm assuming you're going with Clarksdale.
Sorry. Yeah.
Clarksdale.
Crumpton Field. At Crumpton Field. Yeah.
Clarksdale.
Yeah.
Clarksdale.
And I'll make it a clean sweep on that one if I get it out.
You gotta make it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, be a little bit more clear. I want to write you down for Lewis.
No. Please don't do that. I'll lose.
11-0 Wayne County at 7-4 Brookhaven. Former employee, a friend of mine, Gary Hentz, now down at Brookhaven. They got a tough task with Wayne County rolling into town.
Yeah, Wayne County in this one could be pretty big.
Yeah, Wayne County.
Yep, and Gary's not going to be happy because I'm going to make it a clean sweep on that as well. Brookhaven season ends there. Macomb to take on Picayune. Picayune coming off a big win. They're I have now 10-0 on the season. I don't know if that's right. Macomb 8-2. It's at Picayune.
Yeah, I don't think they're 10-0, but they've been making quite a bit of noise, and I'm picking Picayune in this one.
I'm gonna go with Macomb.
Interesting pick there for Jeremy, picking Macomb.
Of course.
Putting some pressure on me there. I'm saying Picayune good for one more week and then they're done. So Ryan, I'll go with you on that. Forest AHS 11-0 on the season at 8-2 Long Beach. Ryan.
Picked against Long Beach last week, but I'm going with Forest this week. I don't really know how.
So you're gonna pick against Long Beach again?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how Long Beach got past that first round, but they're not getting past this round.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm gonna agree with Ron here.
And I'll make it a clean sweep as well. Interesting ball game here. Poplarville 8-3 at 10-1 Terry. A lot of people didn't see Poplarville even coming into this game, so they could be rolling pretty strong here.
Well, Terry is one of the better teams in the 4A South and could actually pull an upset. I mean, of course, they might have to face Wayne County later on, but I'm saying Terry in this one.
I'm going to agree. Terry Bulldogs.
And I'll make it a clean sweep on that one as well, with Terry being the victor on that one. Guys, I forgot to write down our 1A matchups, I do believe, so let me double check, make sure I don't have them here before I say that. Well, guess what? I do have them. I promise. So now we'll look at our 1A matchups. You got 11-0 Vardaman versus Greenville St. Joe coming in with a 7-3 record. Guys, I think it's pretty easy who we're all going to go on this one.
Vardaman easily in this one.
Yeah, they're going to be eating some sweet potatoes after this victory. Vardaman.
Absolutely. I think they eat sweet potatoes 24/7 down there. But I'll make it a clean sweep with Vardaman. Where at East Tibaha. And before we say picking any picks on this, Adam Hamilton to my right here is already calling the upset with the 7-3 East Tibaha Titans being winning the ball game over Ware, which is 9-1 on the season.
Ain't gonna happen. Ware's winning this one.
Really? Ain't gonna happen.
Ain't gonna happen.
I'm gonna go with Ware as well.
And I'll make it a clean sweep on that one as well, saying we will have that classic matchup between Vardaman and Ware next week here on TV7. Ray Brooks versus West Tibaha. West Tibaha's got to go to Benoit, or it depends on where you're from. If you call it Benoit, it's a French word, so it's Benoit in my book. Ray Brooks 10-0, West Tibaha 6-4.
The 499 yards of total offense via the run game.
Yeah.
Wins in first round.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens next round.
Yeah, Ray Brooks, without a doubt. They're going to second round.
East Webster 9-1, Mound Bayou JFK 9-2. Interesting ball game here because JFK gave both Ware and Ray Brooks a good ball game.
I'm going to say East Webster in this one. They gave Vardaman a pretty close game as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go with East Webster as well.
Y'all go with East Webster, but if Vardaman plays East Webster anywhere else, Vardaman's 4 touchdowns better than East Webster in that ball game. I'm going with Mound Bayou JFK because those officials were absolutely the worst officials I've ever seen in the history of competitive sports, no matter if it's badminton or football. It was horrible. You'll agree with me on that. Adam Hamilton agrees. All right, we'll shift down to the south now. Puckett 10-0 versus Boca Chica 6-5. Pretty simple pick in there, guys.
Yeah, going with Puckett.
Puckett.
And Puckett.
And Puckett.
Yep. And then Mercy Cross 10-1, St. Aloysius, I believe that's right, 8-3 in that ball game.
I'll go with Mercy Cross in this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Mercy Cross as well.
You forgot who was playing, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll say the same thing there. Mount Olive versus Nanawaya, possibly the most fun name to say in the game of football. Mount Olive 10-1, Nanawaya 7-4.
I'll go with Mount Olive in this one.
How about those Purple Pirates?
Absolutely, I'll go with that as well. We'll have a better control of ourselves on this one tonight. Lake 9-1, Cathedral 7-3.
Pull a name out of a hat. I'll say Lake.
Yeah, I'm going to be anti-Catholic here. I'm going to go with Lake.
And I'm going against my boys up north, and I will go with Lake as well. So that's pretty much, other than in the 1A, just JFK and the East Webster games, the only one we disagree with there. With I'm saying JFK beats East Webster. You guys are jumping with East Webster.
So we're pretty much not going to be making any.
We got a lot of different
4A.
games.
I think it's the only 4A. I think is the only one where you kind of just decided to lose your lead. But other than that, I think we're pretty much picked the same all the way through.
Well, guys, last week the number 1 seed won 22 out of 24 games. The number 2 seed was 15 of 24, while 3 came in with 9 of 24, and the number 4 seed 2 of 24. Still no justice to having 4 teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, soapbox, not enough time here, but just do it like 1A and 5A. Top 2 teams in the district, they go, makes for more exciting. You're going to have more exciting playoff rounds in 1A and 5A this week than you did in some of those matchups from 2A to 4A.
Well, that'll be interesting, especially when my Hines AHS team knocks off. I mean, we'll see. But if the number 4 seed wins the second round,
you know they're playing.
We'll see. No, I don't. Not at the moment. But hey, it could happen.
Your Hines AHS team.
Union. That's right.
Thanks, Adam. Tell me their mascot.
Thanks, Adam, for pointing that out.
I really couldn't right now, but if you give me, a couple days,
give me some time to get home, look on the internet.
That's right.
Find out it's the Cougars.
That's right.
So either way it goes, Ryan, that is your team, I guess, out of the South, Hines AHS. Good luck on that one. And also, I guess you could say another team that would say, shut your mouth about the 4 teams in the playoffs, the Boonville Blue Devils.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Their team doesn't want to hear what we have to say about that. And they have a tremendous chance to knock off Amory again. They could really put themselves into a position for a special playoff run if they can knock off the Panthers Friday night.
Absolutely. It's always hard to go against the old ball coach in those type of ball games, especially at Boonville on that one. So our games next week, you guys will be at the West Point and Oxford game. I believe Paul Blansett, Bill Morgan, and Sue Campbell will be at the Amory Boonville game. And then Stephen Chris, Steve Witten, and Reggie Callahan will be at the Baldwin Bruce game. Adam Hamilton will be getting highlights at Vardaman. Lee Alexander will be at Kansas City getting highlights, and I will be at Nelton getting highlights next week. And remind everyone you can tune in Friday night at 9 o'clock for our playoff show. We'll start a little bit earlier this week, and once again, call in with scores and updates and more throughout the night, as we'll be there live in Pontotoc. Well, we got just a few more minutes left. Any last thoughts, guys, on this first week of the playoffs?
Well, just what we said last week is a good first round. Only 2 just monumental upsets. Other than that, everybody that we thought for the most part would win. I just got it. That Baldwin Bruce game is really going to be a tremendous ball game. I can see 5,000 to 6,000 people at Trojan Field packing this one out. Really a tough game to call. Would not surprise me. Pick Baldwin would not surprise me if the Trojans came out and won the ball game.
Well, and you got a lot of teams across our viewing area that are really in prime position if they can notch a win on Friday night to really make some noise in the playoffs. I mean, you got Oxford in 4A, you got Nettleton in 3A, then you got Bruce and Baldwin in 2A. That's some great playoff football. And like we saw on Friday, if you're not, ready to go out to these ball games and support these guys, you need to just get in a frenzy.
Absolutely. We do want to challenge everyone watching at home to get out and support your teams this Friday night, because it's Mississippi on a Friday night during the playoffs, the cold weather. And don't let that stop you. There's nothing better than high school football this time of year.
Absolutely not. And this is directed to you, Oxford Charger fans. You and I are going to be there. We've talked about this. Get out and support your ball club. You were 13-0 last year. You had 1 sellout. That was against Lafayette. Come out, support your ball club. You had 1 sellout last year against West Point. Do it again, because the fans can make a tremendous difference. They have great fans that they'll just come out and support their team. Because we talked about it, Oxford wins Friday night. They set themselves up for an easy ride to Jackson.
That's right, and prove us wrong. Please prove us wrong. I would love to be wrong in the Oxford-West Point matchup. We've talked about getting some area teams down to Jackson. We would love to have guys like Bruce or Baldwin, Oxford, Nettleton, any of these teams down in Jackson. We'd love to cover them. So.
Absolutely. I'm going to make an unnecessary challenge. The Elton fans, get out and support your team.
Yeah, I think they'll be there.
Absolutely.
I think they'll be there.
Well, that's just about all the time we got here from the Coaches Show here at Westside Grill. We want to remind everybody to come by and see Little Charles here down at Westside Grill for some of the best food, if not the best food here in Bruce, if not North Mississippi as well. Mine's sitting here waiting on me, so I'm about to chow down on this, folks. So Guys, appreciate you coming out on a rainy Monday night. For Stephen Chris, Adam Hamilton, Ryan Whittington, Mighty Bad Ryan Whittington,
That's right.
Jeremy Kennedy, I'm Adam Gore. We'll see you next time here on the Coaches Show.